Ribs telemetry throat go. If I swallow in the aggro, my culture of a micro, rachasm, be it slabbing to be the slam of a backboard or plank of parata, then how do you keep the flame to stay insane enough to be sane when the drain becomes the main thing and you can't recollect of addiction ending nicotine gum, or if it had come out of that mouth kinda numb, what is the horse's thumb to be in its drum or humdrum of journal diary of what is more cyprepre than 7-Eleven, or when it's condol is the way it blurs out a bit momentous of films and negatives of dust, or if it can't trust, can it rust in the gutter of a flake of rusted off metallic guttural German of some sunk young had been anchor rust of the ship battle, then how had each morning a drinking energy drink to be awful, then what is the waffle ball kind of wiffle ram of a emulatrum of electros of how a thrust or see a theory be kind of the same bleary as the blur of the David Greery, and if it's gravy David Gray, of how the permissays and persimmons have been a fruit of a lima sub of imminent to be its fifthful of what is soloist and violinable, if something is a bit more singular in its nuance and accents of what is octopus instead of octave and bathtub for the water dub. No bubble couldn't blub without a breakdown in the kinetha, or if it's Ayurvedic Aka La Esther, then isk out my whisk of disc to be my cool whip on my pie to say I'm cool and hip to make me replace a disc like old hips or hops of what is toucan return of that bottle at the grocers to make a bottle cap candy, old flandy and nather of what is naggy and nabby. But if it's not cabby, how can I oxygenate tax a quick into a re-throttled Tarkashis, her mask like a Hamza to a widget in a Android phone, or maybe even iPhone La Os, if it's paros, or maybe a bit pierogi gross, then how comatose is my throat when the quiet swallows down and I knew the club of a ugh the gug of how much information have been in my slug. Oh, to be that corky Oliver stopping Haza ma la yatimea, or if it's tamale, then how hot could make the spices on that those astronauts and Nazi aeronautics and Lockheed for that key in the game of puzzles and RP sandboxes to make this Moxie Mozilla like cheddar browser on top of this sharp matzo to Oscar like masks and boxes and basking Ferxes to be that new Greek word for how it's exerted or how it's exercised at the germa. Yeah, yin. But if it's Super Saiyan, what is my trunk of elephant? To be that instrumental carrier object, to get out my saucers of how it's broadcasted on the dish, like flick a flish. Or if that's a blink of an Augen, how many times have I trouted my follicle to be its photographic? Or if that's another box, then how many times have I lupa copper chapped it? Or if it's kaput ketchup, how brown is it? To be like my physical recollection of record echolocation.